my boy! Breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati. Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh, my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh, my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh, my God. No edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get 9, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get Nakobe Dean. We can get Nakobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. Wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge.
Welcome, people. This is Jets Chaos here on a special Friday edition where we're going to dig deep into some analytics. That's right. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is Jets Chaos? What is Snacks? What does Egghead know about digging in deep to analytics? Well, the truth is, I didn't say I was going to do it alone, silly. So, without further ado, let me bring to you a man who no longer needs an introduction on this channel. He is the friend of Green Bean originally, but then became friends to everybody. He's the analytical. He's the studying players, studying film, studying geeky, but not really a geek, but a little bit of a nerd when it comes to watching tape, predicting, knowing every player in the world. He likes wings, so he's a wing eating, he's a pretzel eating, he's a beer drinking, he's a jet rooting, the greatest analytical film down breakdown man in the world.
What's up, Chaos? What's up, chat? How's everyone going? How's everything going?
It has been a turbulent week, I should say. A turbulent week.
Amen, man. Amen. Looking forward to getting to Pittsburgh. That's for sure.
I'm telling you, man. We need to. It's like I need to, instead of like losing my mind all week, I need to learn how to pull a Bill Belichick and just say, "On to Pittsburgh."
Yeah.
Every time someone says something to me, how do you feel about that loss to Cincinnati? On to Pittsburgh.
Well, you know what?
About that penalties. How do you feel about that penalty? On to Pittsburgh.
Twitter is it's a funny place because I read something today, actually, as a matter of fact, and I forgot who it was. Probably just some major fan, and it was like, yeah. They watched the Miami game last night, and they said, hey, a good Cincinnati team beat Miami by 2 scores when Miami had their backup quarterback. I wonder if Miami's, Twitter is completely melting like the Jets did last week. And I was like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah, but, there's subtle differences. Miami was 3-0. So I don't think they
they may have hoped, but I don't think they honestly could have believed they were going to go 17-0.
No.
And they were competitive the whole game. I felt like they lost their quarterback and they still stayed in it. I mean, until that interception in the fourth quarter, it was a very tight game, a competitive game.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
their offense lacked a little something, at least, and it's no disrespect to Bridgewater. I like the guy, and I think he's a good player.
But
Again,
I definitely felt a little bit of relief. I'm not going to lie. I felt a little bit of relief. I felt like, you know what? Cincinnati, maybe the Cincinnati we saw play Miami was the same Cincinnati we played. They were and then I thought about the Dallas game and Cincinnati's first game against Carolina, and I saw some analysts talking about it. They very easily could have been 4-0 or 3-0, coming, they could have won those first two games. So when you think about it from that perspective, if Cincinnati goes on a tear now and is back to being one of these elite AFC teams, and that's who we really had played and lost to, it's not so bad.
Well, Cincinnati did something very different against us, and then last night against Miami, which they failed to do the first 2 weeks, and they got the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands a lot quicker. So a lot more 3-step drops and go, a lot quick swing passes, so on and so forth. There was nothing, only a couple plays here and there, on some. They did a little bit more play action. They tried to establish the run yesterday. I don't know how much you watched the game or not. I just happened to, be home and watching it. And they tried their damnedest to establish the run, but that line is just, it's still an issue in Cincinnati. So, their coach, Zach Taylor's a good coach, and he did what he needed to do. He got the ball out of Burrow's hands quick. If the line's not going to hold up for 4 seconds, get the ball out in 2.5.
Right. And they're happy to use Jamal Chase as a decoy. If you're gonna focus in on Chase, we're gonna use our other guy.
And they did. They bracketed Chase. They used, in NFL terms, they high-low, right? So they had somebody covering him in man coverage, but they always had help over the top of the safety, which is fine. That's one way to eliminate Jamar Chase from beating you. But the problem is it opens up one-on-ones on the other side of the field, which Cincinnati took advantage of that other cornerback on T. Higgins all day long.
So just ate him alive.
Yeah.
But it does, if Miami would have came out and blew out Cincinnati, that would have been a lot worse. Like in my brain, my brain would have had a lot of trouble because then it would have been, oh my God. But the fact that Cincinnati, ended up taking control of that game, did make me feel like, okay, maybe part of this, maybe 1 and 2 is not so bad. Maybe these teams we played were really tough. And I'm not making excuses. I still want to see our improvements and I want to be competitive. But, maybe it's not as grotesque. Maybe, the defense is struggling because we're going against really good running teams that match up well against us.
Yeah. Listen, I tend to err on the side of a much more optimistic fan. I try to always find the good or see the positive, whether it's not, I'm lying to myself, but that's just the kind of Jets fan that I am. And I said this before. I know I said it to you privately in our group chat and whatnot. Like, we go back to August, and when this schedule came out, if we said we're going to be 2-2 after the first quarter of the season, we'd sign up for it 100 times out of 100.
I still would.
And we still have a very good chance to do that.
Right.
With all our digressions and all the nonsense that's been going around, and our coaches need to just stay off the microphone.
Yeah.
With all that, said and done, with the 32nd ranked defense, with Joe Flacco at quarterback, with our 4th left tackle, we still have a chance to be 2-2, which still puts us in a very good chance and a very good possibility to keep improving week after week and really hit that 8-9 win mark, whatever you per se or anyone's real target, before the season was. I think it's still within reach.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. There's different ways to get to 2-2. Like if we get to 2-2, I'm happy overall. Don't get me wrong, because I mean, more than anything, as much as I say, oh, Zach, we didn't. I'm not gonna worry about after one game, no matter how he does. I'm not gonna panic. I hope he does well, but I'm not gonna panic if he doesn't at all. We all understand that there might be a couple of games of rust. It's totally fine and sensible. We just want him to be smart, right? I mean, if he's rusty with his arm and his mechanics or whatever, and just his ability to execute, we can go survive that. If he throws 5 interceptions and makes stupid decisions, that would be more concerning. The only thing is, I would like, if we're going to end up 2-2, I'll be thrilled. The icing on top of that. I mean, obviously, anytime Zach Wells plays well, it would be icing. But the icing on top of that would be if our defense, even though it's not against the first 3 teams we played, it's a start, shuts down Pittsburgh. Like if our defense shuts them down and plays really well, I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but Pittsburgh stinks. I don't care, because my counter to that is, maybe Pittsburgh is struggling offensively, but what would you rather have? Us look bad on defense against Pittsburgh? Like that's a much worse scenario. So if we play and look really good against Pittsburgh, I know it doesn't end all our problems and all the concerns on defense, but at least it shows that we're capable of, in the NFL, stopping an NFL offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a really good matchup for us too. Both on the offensive and on the defensive side. Defensively, they're very strong up the middle. They got a really good pair of middle linebackers, that are on the field a lot, and they got 2 very good safeties, right? Where they're weak is on the flanks, on the outside. Now, take away, the edge rush or the pass rush that they've been able to put together without TJ Watt. They can be beat on the outside. So their run defense is less than stellar. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to kind of ease Zach in. Let's really, really, really hopefully we're not playing from behind right off the bat, and we can really establish our run game, because I think if we do that, we have a damn good chance to really make some noise in this game.
Yeah. I always felt that if we can just get Michael Carter and Breece Hall to take over the game and just make big runs and pound the ball and get first downs, I always felt that that's the best way to help Zach. Or, that's an obvious thing. It's any quarterback in the NFL. I mean, when you have a running game, the pressure that comes off that quarterback and then the ability to do those play actions, it's everything, right? Sure. I mean, it's everything. So, but it looks like we have a chance to do that. This is an opportunity for us to really get our running backs to shine, and I'm excited about that. And think you're right. I do think it's a good matchup, and even the Pittsburgh Steeler guy I had on here, who's diehard Steeler fan, is saying, "Hey, we're the juiciest thing on your menu right now. When you look ahead at your schedule," he goes, "You better beat us." And we bet, and we feel, and they feel the same way. We better beat the Jets, because they have some tough games coming up too. So he's saying the same thing. He goes, admittedly, we are the opportunity for you right now to get a win and try to stay in the season, even if you struggle through the next 4 games. You need to get a win out of us, and he thought it was possible. So that was an interesting thing to hear. Before we dive into your tape, I just want to say hello to people,
Sure.
Here with us and take this ride. Harlan Abraham, such a great supporter of the channel. Thanks. Burnt Dice, it's good to see you here. My friend Mike Galizia, I hope you're okay from the storm, from the hurricane. Apparently you have power. Hopefully that's the case, and you are okay, clearly okay. So that's good news, my friend. Snowball is here. Hey, we had a good time with him in Brooklyn, Coney Island. We got the clutch. We got the kid.
Chiefs.
Kansas City dude. We got to get him on and talk about some Chiefs and get more insight from him. Normally, people on this channel don't like when we talk about other teams, but very few people complain when it's Chiefs in the clutch. He's just so well spoken. And then we got JETS. I'm cracking you up. I'm being pretty serious tonight, but I'm still cracking them up. Watch my short videos on my channel. Go and watch my shorts. I do that on purpose for anyone who really likes my ridiculous sense of humor. Jets positivity, man. It's time. We got to be positive at some point. I couldn't stew all week. I got to admit, this stewing of mine this week went a lot longer than normal. And I think it was just a pent up frustration over it's what Green Bean says. It's the fact that it felt the same, the defense. And, watching the game with him, we were like, I feel like this is last year. And that's really hard because I really thought, and I'm really hoping moving forward, I really want to let that be part of the past. I'm just so tired of it, that feeling of not being competitive. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I'm just done with it. So, and I think, I really think we have the talent to not be like that ever again,
I'm going to say this, and this might be a hot take, considering because we do have the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. For those of you who don't know, there's 32 teams in the NFL, which would put us dead last. But I've watched the Cincinnati game over at least 3 or 4 times. I've watched it at regular speed. I've watched it on the All 22. I've really done it. And just like the Baltimore game, I think that the defense, the overall product was pretty lackluster, but there's really like 3 or 4 plays that you can hone in that were difference makers, and that's those 3 or 4 plays that if they turn our way, it's a whole different game. Like I was personally much, much more disappointed, disgusted, whichever way you want to say it, with Joe Flacco's play in Cincinnati than I was with the overall defense. Well, and again, that's a hot take because the defense has been front and center on the stage where people are throwing darts at it. There was a lot of near misses and a lot of like I said, miscommunication, that stuff that was talked about over and over, that stuff has to stop. I agree. That stuff absolutely can't continue to go on if we're ever going to have any semblance of a chance of, being competitive in a national football game. But you take away 3 or 4 plays and I think it's a completely different ball game on the defensive side. Offensive, we didn't score any touchdowns. So, it is that is what it is. So that's just my, like I said, from a view way up here, I don't think it was overall as bad as it looked on paper and as bad as everyone made it out to be.
Okay, well, we're going to watch some film breakdown, right?
Yes, we are. We
help us feel better about that.
No, listen, there's definitely it's definitely. I'm not saying it's not stellar in the least,
right?
But I don't think, like I said, it's just and this is my spin on it. And there's nothing but the way I'm interpreting it. When Saleh talked about like bad luck and some of that stuff that's going, that needs to turn. Like I can only imagine he's talking about like, these plays here or there where there's miscommunication and, the chase touchdown in the end zone, is it, where Sauce and Joyner get mixed up and there's the first touchdown, that I have pinned out on film that we'll go over and you can see what happened. It's just like, if you can fix those couple plays, it's a whole different ballgame. Yeah. The big touchdown by Tyler Boyd, when we rush 7 and he makes a nice pass. Burrow makes a nice pass and nice coverage. And then Whitehead just wide open and tries to lay a hit instead of wrapping up
the guy. But also the JFM penalty. I mean,
yeah.
We're off the field. We're off the field with decent field position, possibly, and not play. It's a turnover. That was a turnover. That penalty was the equivalent of a turnover.
Yo, absolutely.
Right?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So listen, there's still a lot of things that you don't like to see. There's still, and we'll get into it as we get on in this show. I'll pinpoint and talk a little bit more. Like some stuff is still like way too loose. Like it almost gets to feel like everyone's a little bit too deep. And all right, and we don't have to like it. We don't have to agree with it. But the majority of the time, we're not going to be playing. We're not going to be playing strict press man to man. No matter if we think that, we're better suited for it or not, that's just not what's going to happen. So if you're going to be in the zone, play the zones properly, right? And that's where I think that some of the improvements need to be.
Okay, that's good to hear. I'd love to hear it because look, I was saying it the whole time. It baffles me, even as angry as I've been. I say it all the time. I say it did work in San Francisco, and other places. We know it works in other places, and we have talent now. So maybe it's just like you're saying, we just need to be even
everything's
more
not. I haven't seen anything where it's fired on all cylinders yet on the
Right.
defensive side at all.
Well, I mean, and admittedly, I mean, no matter, it's hard to judge because there's been one game in the last 20 games, or maybe two, but one that sticks out that we actually had the defensive line do what they needed to do, which was really create turmoil and just apply tons and tons of pressure and make the quarterback very uncomfortable. And if we were doing that as often as San Francisco was the year Saleh was there, we'd probably see a much better defense.
Yeah. And I will say this, though, in defense to the Jets, I thought they played a very, very smart, very good defensive game week 1 against Baltimore, with the exception, they had a game plan. They did what a lot of the NFL can't do. They really honed in that running game, the best running game, possibly the best running game in the NFL when you include what Lamar Jackson can do on his legs. Again, there's a couple mishaps, one beautiful throw by Lamar Jackson, you tip your cap, and a couple other blown calls. And again, it's a one possession 10-point game, Yeah.
Absolutely. So continuing our hellos, Mark Reese, what's up?
Marky.
Kelly Wilson, what's up? That is a man, not a woman. I just had to say that because there is somebody who gets that confused. Robert S. What's going on? Yes. You know how many times I've had that song sung to me?
Just like you, that's your song. Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
I can't tell you how many times.
Mine's Dominic the Donkey. So.
Oh, hickety dick, dickety dick, Dominic the Donkey. I used to on Z100.
As a matter of fact, growing up, like my good core of friends from elementary school and whatnot, that's how I'm known. There's two Dominics. There was Dominic, and then there's Donkey. I'm known as Donkey.
Nice. Rendilla. What's going on? Robert S. is there. And Ruggs 89. So many people. I got to most of them, I think. Who's this? Trenton Shelley. What's going on? We got talent. Yeah, we do. That's the only reason I have hope. All my hope, all my emotion is like if we had the staff, if we had the roster we had in 2020 or 2019, I wouldn't be so upset because I'd be like, oh yeah, I expect to suck. But it's the fact that we have all these good players that makes this so frustrating and sets my expectations high. Like I want to see at least competitive. I think we have the players where I want to see very competitive football and feel like in the fourth quarter we're in the game. And you know what? Sometime in this season, I would like, I don't know how you feel about Dom C. Wouldn't you like for us to be on the right side of the blowout?
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I think the last one I can honestly remember, Jeremy, was the month when we opened up on that, what was it, Sunday night or Monday night game in Detroit?
Yeah,
Sam
Detroit
blew it out 41-14.
Yep.
When we thought that Sam had arrived.
Yeah. I miss the feeling of a game where we just get to spend the back half of the third quarter and the entire fourth quarter watching some of our backups play and joking around and talking. And, there's no nerves and you get this nice, beautiful win and you get to know that you're going to have the whole week to talk about all the great things your team did. I miss that. And we haven't had that in a bunch of years. So, but anyway, let's get to the tape. Why don't you, put it on my screen so I could share it?
Yeah, sure. We'll do. Let me pull it up here.
So, guys, we're Dom C, when we get it going, he's going to tell you what we're looking at. So he'll explain what we're looking at, but we're going to look at some tape from last week's game and break it down a little bit.
Let me just get to the plays. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see if I can share my screen here. share screen, and I want
Testing your sound on StreamYard. It's working.
all
Have
right.
a nice
Can
day.
you tell me when you can see?
I can see it.
You can. Let me make it bigger.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
So we're in the first quarter here, and I'm gonna pull up the. I'm just gonna let it play a little bit. Now, the only problem here on this computer is I don't have a mouse, so I gotta kind of play with it by hand. So I'm gonna stop it.
What's
This
good
is-
is we could see your little hand moving around.
Oh, you
which
can.
Yes, which is a good thing, so you can point things out.
Like this right here. Not my. Can you see me at all, or do you just see the screen?
No, we see you. We see you and me are two little boxes in the corner, but we also see on the screen, like I could see your little hand under the play button.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first touchdown. Okay. And this is, like I said, I think this is, we talked about those miscommunications, right? Those unlucky, as Sala refers to it, play. And I just want to play this out. So as you see here, there's the center. They got a tight end here. They're stacked with the wide receivers here. So they got 3 wide receivers. They got a tight end. They got a running back. Okay. And we're manned up right here. I'm going to play this through. Okay. So now he drops off into the zone. Okay. So I think this is Chase right here. All right. So Sauce kind of drifts back. He's playing this zone here. You got Joyner, who's got this. He's here, and Reed's back here in this corner. You got your linebackers that are at their good depth, right? There's nothing coming underneath, okay? This is 4-man pressure. I know it's hard to see, but you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, okay? So I'm going to play a little bit. Boom, all right? The pocket starts to collapse. Now I'm going to play this through, and then the next view I think is going to be easier for me to break down. So let me play through. Burrow, scrambles, boom, touchdown, okay? Now, with this next view, we'll be able to break it down a little bit more, okay? This is a great view. So you got Jacob Martin over here. I think that's Sheldon Rankins. You got Q, and you got Lawson, all right? This is a typical defense for, not typical, but, pretty much our base defense against their 3, what we would consider, in layman's terms, 4-2-5, right? So we're going with a 4-man rush, and I want to play it through. Okay, boom. Lawson gets great pressure. They stunt over here, and Jacob Martin gets in. Okay, watch Q. Watch Q here. Jams his guy, throws him right back. Burrow, you see, the pocket's collapsing on Burrow. Burrow's going to jet off this way. One mistake, and I'm not saying it's a mistake. I'm not saying it's a bad rep at all by on his part. But what? Oop. Q Williams, right here. Boom. You see where he gets sucked in? I'm going to see if I can bring that back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He gets sucked in just the tiniest bit. I got to play it through again. This is the problem about not having my mouse, is I got to do this all by hand. So Q, we're watching Q. He jams him back right here. Boom.
Oh,
He gets sucked in. You have Jacob Martin right here. He's on the ankles of Joe Burrow. Q sees this lane, and he goes at it. And again, I'm not knocking him for it, but he lost the contain. There's nobody here on the contain. They stunted on this end, and Rankins has him contained. I don't know if they had a stunt on this side or not. I don't know. But if Q breaks it out right here, there's no play. But he gets sucked in, and look what happened. It gives Burrow the chance to roll out. Okay? Now he rolls out, and right there, you see it. I know you can't see it well. This is Quincy Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quincy Williams is in his zone right here. He's in the hook to flat zone right here. But he sees Burrow, and what does he do?
Runs towards him.
And what that does is that leaves Sauce in bad position. Sauce is playing that deep third because let's see if I can you see Chase right here? Sauce is concerned about Chase because he knows he's got Quincy Williams here in the flat. Right? So he's oh sugar. just screwed that up bad.
No. That makes sense. So Quincy Williams screwed that play up.
Well, listen, if Quincy Williams breaks, which he does, Sauce has to break up here. And this is a good shot of it right here. Okay? Because here's the touchdown. All this guy does, Pirine, all he does is he's running his pattern and he sees rolling out. He just stops. Let's see if I can do it in one speed here. Just watch the running back. See?
He just stops.
Watch. He goes, and then boom, he just stops. He just finds an empty space in the zone. You know why? Because the man who had that zone took off after the quarterback. Sauce either needs to step up or Quincy Williams needs to roll back. Now, pick your poison, right? Pick your poison. If Quincy Williams
how do you
a chance to run.
How do you coach that? How do you communicate that as two guys?
Again, I just think it's bad. Sauce is he's so concerned about what's happening to Ja'Marr Chase, and maybe the communication is breakdown between Joyner and Sauce. If he knows Joyner's there, then Sauce can bump up and allow Quincy to move up. Again, these are just like the tiniest little mistakes, but look what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this play right here, it's our typical base 4-2-5 defense. We got pressure at the quarterback, right? The pocket collapsed. Q makes one move. He jab steps inside instead of jab stepping outside. If he jab steps
outside and contains that edge.
If he gets outside, Joe Burrow doesn't get, Joe Burrow then has to run around Q Williams. And more than likely it's going to result in him throwing the ball away, or it's going to result in a sack. But it's just one. I use the word mistake, but I'm not saying Quincy Williams is at fault because he had a good, or Q Williams is at fault because he had a good rep, right?
Right, but if he breaks out to the outside, his brother never has to step forward and leave his zone.
Correct, Jeremy. You're absolutely right about that. He doesn't even. I went too far here. Here it is. If he steps outside, that's the play before. Mm-hmm. So we're coming up to it again, and I'll let it go in fast time here. Hang on 1 second. Here it is. I'll let it go in fast time. If he doesn't do that step right there,
you see him do it.
And you see Quincy Williams left his zone and he left the guy wide open. Again, that's a mistake. That's the mistake that happens here. Watch Quincy Williams. You see him. He drops in his zone. He's doing everything right. Oh, no, there's a quarterback. Let me go leave. And he leaves the guy in his zone. He doesn't pass the man off. Him and Sauce, if he's going to take off that quarterback, Sauce has to pick up that zone. Right? But Sauce was so concerned about what happened in the back end in Ja'Marr Chase, because I guess there was miscommunication there with Lamarcus Joyner. So bad communication or bad execution of your responsibilities on the back end between Quincy, Joyner, Sauce, or some combo of the three really cost that. The defense. Now,
do you think the coaches, does Saleh know? Does he have an idea in that philosophy, or an understanding of that play in his mind, where he understands does he know who messed up? We don't know, but does he know? Does he know this is the guy who should have?
Without a doubt, these guys are professional coaches. There's no doubt that the coaches got them back and told Quincy Williams, listen, you can't leave you can't leave your zone without making sure you pass your man off. That's defense 101, right?
Right, but I could see Quincy saying, but my instincts saw this quarterback with tons of space to run, and I just wanted to jump up and get him. But
instincts
still behind the line of scrimmage.
Instincts and responsibilities are two different things. Now, he's still behind the line of scrimmage, right? So just say Quincy Williams doesn't break on Joe Burrow on that play. Just say he doesn't.
Then he has to come across the line of scrimmage.
Joe Burrow has to come across the line of scrimmage. But then Joe Burrow's here, right about here, if you can see my arrow pointing, when he throws that pass. He's still got 21 yards to try to get to try to get past Q Williams, who's chasing him, Quincy Williams, who's here, the two safeties, and Sauce Gardner. If he stays home and Joe Burrow runs the ball, there's no touchdown.
Right.
You know, it's just these are mental breakdowns, and that's what I think is the biggest problem with our defense right now. And you can, people can say again, I'm not defending them, but people have been extremely hard on the coaches right here, but the coaches aren't the one executing the plays; the players are. Now, I don't know if they were coached up. I listen. I have this much, in-depth football knowledge compared to the vast majority of knowledge that these defensive coaches have. I see what's, my limited knowledge knows exactly how that play is supposed to happen. So these coaches are seeing that. I'm sure during film, I'm sure they explained it just the way we just explained it right there. If you're going to leave your area, you have to pass that man off, right? Think of it this way. You want, what's the better option? Right? You're going to leave a man open with the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage where he can still throw the touchdown, or maybe
you're not going to get to him in time. You're not going to jump up and block his pass.
But maybe Quincy thought, or maybe his responsibility was if the quarterback gets outside, his responsibility is to go get him, and he's thinking that Sauce is going to be there to pick up the man. I don't know, but one way or another, they were off. Whether it was Sauce thought he had to worry about Chase deep and didn't think about Joyner, whether Sauce didn't pick up Quincy when Quincy broke, or maybe Quincy wasn't supposed to break, which is what I think really is the situation. You take the lesser of two evils. Let Joe Burrow try to run past four guys for 22 yards, right?
But and the interesting thing is like what I take away that is now I'm understanding something more about a defensive lineman. If you're pushing your guy back, if you ever notice at any point, like you got to be aware of your surroundings, that you are the last line of defense on the edge. You have to know that if you cut in like that and he gets away, there's no one there.
Correct. Now listen,
we need him to sense that.
There's
no one to my right.
Yeah. There's different strategies, right? There's times where the defensive ends, their only responsibility is contained, right? That they might they might press with their hands, but you're never going to see them actually rush the quarterback. Listen, these four guys were getting after the quarterback there. And again, if Q Williams, you saw it, I honed in on it. He takes a hard step in because he sees the quarterback in a lane, right? He doesn't know that JFM completely bull rushed his guy and he's laying on the ground. Maybe it's JFM supposed to have the contain there again, and maybe it's just instinctual. But if Q Williams jabs out instead of jabs in, that play doesn't happen. That Burrow probably rolls out and throws it out of bounds. So it's just interesting things like that. Like I said, there's little breakdowns, and unfortunately, there's too many of those little breakdowns, which is why we're losing games. Right?
Yeah.
I'll go on to the next one. Yeah. Next is an offensive play, and I thought this was very, very interesting. Let me just cue it up here. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So I don't know what the down and distance is. I don't have it here. But we got Michael Carter. You know what? Let me do this. Wait. Hang on. Sorry. Oh, man. 7. There we go. Okay. Here's a kickoff. It's right. It's the next play after here. All right. So let's line this up. We got two receivers out here to the left, right? You got a tight end here. Normal formation. All right. This is something that I think has been the crux of our problem in the first 3 games. And this is really, and you've talked about it. You've talked about it. I know that Matt O'Leary has really talked about it. A lot of people have noticed just like the lack of mobility that Joe Flacco really has is really damning this offense, right? I'm going to play it out here, and then in the next view, we'll break it down. He brings GW in motion, play action fake, boom. pressure comes, he just he takes a couple steps back, throws off his back foot away. Okay. So let's watch it here. If I can pause it. Okay. I'm going to do it nice and slow.
Mhm.
Sends GW in motion. Here's the play action fake. Okay. Right here. You see my arrow?
Mhm.
Connor McGovern.
Yep.
Terrible rep. Okay. You're going to say, boom, he's beat. Right. Look at
Right.
this over here. We got a double team here. We got CJ Uzama just completely shutting down this guy. Fant's holding up over here. Lakin's holding up his guy. This is just a bad rep. He's beat right off the bat. Okay?
One guy gets beat.
One guy. And this is the thing. If he has a little mobility, okay? All right, sees the pressure.
Oh,
But
look at that. Sack is
open,
gone.
look at all this open area here. Look at all this. If he rolls out, he doesn't. He just backs up and throws it away.
Tons of space. He
I'm
could have
gonna
went the
back
other way
up.
too. He could have
I'm
went the
gonna
other
back-
way too.
Yeah. I'm going to back
He had a
up.
hole. Yeah, he had a hole to the left also. He could have went either way.
I want you to watch this. This is the same play, different view, sideline view, right? Here's Garrett Wilson that goes, okay? Just key on Garrett Wilson the whole time, Jeremy.
Okay.
Goes in motion. He's got the coverage. All right. Boom. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. You see that? See that move that he did right there? That little move? If Joe Flacco rolls out, you know what we have here? Oh, I went too far.
A touchdown.
We have a touchdown. You know what we have? Even more so? He's got all this area here. This is where I think that we can see the difference in Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, for all his, for all the things that he didn't do great last year, the one thing that you can't knock him for is his pocket presence. He knows when things are collapsing. He has that innate sense to avoid destruction. He's mobile, right? He rolls out here. He's got a wall over here. And Garrett Wilson blows this. You know what this is? This is Corey Davis, Tennessee. When Zach flags him down and says, go, go, go. That's
the same
exactly
play.
what you have here. Watch Garrett Wilson. Watch this move right here. Boom, boom, boom. He's wide open.
Oh my God, he would have been
He's wide open. But by that time, Flacco had already backed up 5 yards and threw it off his back foot. All he needs to do is right here. All right.
Break left.
Break right. Break right.
I mean,
Look at
break
this
right. I'm
wall
sorry.
here.
Break right. Yeah, break right.
Look at this wall here. And Garrett
And
Wilson
he
will
loves
make
to
that
break
move.
right.
He just holds the ball too long. He's too much of a statue. This is where Zach Wilson's going to help the Jets, right? Zach Wilson feels that. Zach Wilson can get outside of the pocket. Zach Wilson has an innate ability to throw the ball on the run, right? Elongate plays, sometimes to our detriment. But a play like this, all he needed to do is take 3 steps to his right. And he couldn't, man. And he couldn't.
And that's the guy, man. Because Garrett Wilson,
You saw that little hesitation step, and he had 3 yards of separation with 2 little boop boop. Amazing, dude.
He's
Amazing.
ridiculous. He's so good.
Yeah. Let me get to the next play. This is another offensive play where I think if we have Zach, where are we? 840. If we have Zach, it's a different end game here. Okay. So I'm going to play it here in fast time, and then we'll go through and slow it down. Okay. Boom, boom. Let me do it one more time. Just watch the play. So we have 3 wide receivers. We got a tight end on this side, single back, bring 1 man in motion. Now they didn't follow. So I want to repeat that. Watch the zone. So it's a zone defense right here, right?
There's no one followed him.
There's no one following. So you know that they're in a zone defense, okay? So what does it tell you? You know if they're in a zone defense, they got 1, they got 2, they got 3. Right now they're showing 3 deep and 4 under, right? I don't know if it's a true 3 deep, 4 under. They might roll into a 2 deep, but that bringing Zach, when they bring Garrett Wilson in motion, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out what type of defense they're playing, because that's going to really call or determine where the progressions are going to go for Joe Flacco. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I see 3 here and I see 4 under. and they're rushing 4. Very similar defense to what we run in a lot of our base stuff. Okay. But here's what we did. Here's the play, and here's what we do. All right. They drop. Boom. And he just dumps it off. Okay. Now I want to rewind it. Here's Elijah Moore. Nope. Right here. Right? Boom. Joe, look, he's got space here. Again, Joe Flacco needs to anticipate. Once he sees what kind of defense they're running, once he knows what he's looking at, he's got to anticipate where the holes are going to be. All right? If he hits, if this ball is out before Elijah Moore breaks his route, look, we got all this open space. Instead, he just, he feels a little pressure. He starts to feel it. Good for him. Max Mitchell blew his guy out, but, Joe didn't step up. So now he's feeling the pressure, and he just dumps it off. And what do you got here? You dump it off to Garrett Wilson, great. But you got 1, 2, you got 3 defenders. What are you doing? Right? By the time he gets the ball, he's got 2 defenders in his face. It's just, this is the stuff that, and we'll watch it from this angle.
How did you not?
That wasn't even Max Mitchell. That was Conklin one-on-one. And there was just nothing there. He's just got to be, the quarterback's got to be more aggressive, right? And I think that's where Zach, Zach makes that throw. Zach can make that, from the same hash to the sideline, 20 yards is no problem. That's where we're missing. That's what we're missing. So for all the bad reps of Flacco, and there's a lot of them in this game, I want to show you one good one. Let's see. I'll let this play run. And we talked about knowing what to do and feeling the pressure, what Zach does. Well, here's Flacco. Makes a great play here. Feels the pressure, steps up, makes a strong throw. Look at that. That time he beat man. All right. So he knew exactly what was going on. And it's no surprise, it's Garrett Wilson yet again. Right? Same formation that we've seen a lot of time. Twin set, 1 tight end, one single back. And they're showing man defense. They're showing a single man. They got man on the slot. This guy probably over here playing shallow. Okay, so now they know they're a man defense. You know why? Because as he came, they switched responsibilities. This cornerback was going to blitz. And this guy was on whoever this is here. I don't know. I can't see the number here.
I think it's Garrett again.
That guy had him on man, but once he put him in motion, they just flipped responsibilities and they brought the blitz from the back end. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong play. That's why. Duh. My fault. Here it is. So they bring in some help. Good steps up. Great throw. Joe Flacco can still zip the ball when he's not retreating and throwing off his back foot.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot to be said here. 9:45. Next one.
The problem is he needs an offensive line that's gonna that's gonna put up a wall for him.
Yeah.
So he can be on balance and have the time for the play to completely develop, and he'll find the open guy. But you could tell that he's not. He doesn't have the ability to buy that extra time by rolling out like Zach would, right?
Yeah. Now we talk about it, the big difference between coaching and execution, right? Here's a perfect one. All right. This is a simple play that really could have went for a long ways, but just a bad rep. Watch CJ Uzomah over here on the edge, Jeremy, and chat. Boom. What happened? He completely whiffs on the block. Oh, wait. What? Too far. Here it is.
So we're looking at 87.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember this. He totally
look at this. Right, look at this lane here. Okay. Look at this lane here, and then even more so, Laken Tomlinson does a great job like sealing off here, and you have McGovern leading here. But this guy who Uzama's supposed to just take. I mean, this is textbook,
Just hit him.
just textbook. Take him out. He completely whiffs, and it slows down Brees.
Breaks the
Again,
whole play.
execution on this cost us a big play. This one we all know because I think we all had the same freaking reaction to this play, but I got to play it again. It's coming up. Okay, so we got 3 wide. We got our tight end here, probably going to chip off in the block. You have the running back on a short side, right? With no safety help, right? Here's the safety. No, I'm sorry. Here's the safety. That's your nickelback. Nickelback or linebacker, I can't see. But they rush him. Oh, man. A good throw, and there's a touchdown. Okay? Why? Because watch 55. Where's 55 lined up? Okay? 55, when Joe Flacco sees that this guy's blitzing, he's got Brees wide open. Brees, he's got this much separation. This much separation on the line of scrimmage. A good throw is a touchdown. There's nobody in front of him.
Oh, my God. If he leads them, it's just an easy score.
Just a bad throw. Again, poor execution, man. Poor execution.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's just an easy score. If he throws it over the shoulder.
Again, listen, the games are played on the field, right? I don't want it to sound like I'm defending the coaches because they definitely, they need to improve.
But they outcoach look, LaFleur outcoached them in this play.
Oh, he outcoached
him. I mean, in that play, he outcoached him in that play. That's a touchdown if the quarterback just drops in a 15-yard pass. Come on.
Yeah.
Not even. I mean, that's an easy touchdown, and that's a win for LaFleur. His player didn't execute. We can't knock LaFleur for that.
Absolutely. So this is the I'm sorry, I'm getting blown up here on my phone. I apologize. So this is the touchdown. All right. This is the Whitehead play. Okay. So you see what we have lined up here, right? What do you have up here? Your favorite, Jeremy. Press man, right? You pressed here. Sauce is pressed down here. Okay. You have a single high back here, right?
Yeah.
Here's Joyner.
And that's Whitehead back there, right?
That's Whitehead, yes.
Yeah.
That's Whitehead, right? And which makes sense in something like this, right? If you're in press man, you're their man all the way across, right? Because we know, I know, and we all know from watching this happen, we all know that we're blitzing. We're sending the house here. So I'm fine with this alignment. If you're gonna ask a safety to pick up this running back in the backfield, I'd rather have it be LaMarcus Joyner than Whitehead. His coverage skills are just better, So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with this alignment with having Whitehead back as our single deep safety. So let's watch this sorry play happen. And then
that was 100%. He was trying to be a big shot. I'm going to lay this big hit on this guy.
Yeah.
And it was careless, and that was just so frustrating.
Okay, so here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if they both stay in. The way they lined up, and LaMarcus Joyner right here, he's reading this running back, right? He's reading this running back. Now, everyone talks about we got to, Saleh and Ulbrich, they got to break their scheme. They got to try something different. This is something different. This is something that we haven't done, a lot of. This is maybe, in my opinion, something that we should do a lot more of. All right. But this is just, it's just, again, shit luck, poor execution. You blitz 7 and we can't get home. Now, Joyner almost does if you watch him. No, is it Joyner or is that Q has great push over here?
Yeah, look at that push from Q.
He has great push here. We're getting pressure on the edge over here. I think that's Carl Lawson who breaks in here. LaMarcus Joyner is just about there.
Yeah.
He's just about there. Look at the coverage. It's good coverage. This is Michael Carter too. Now, kudos to Tyler Boyd and Joe Burrow for understanding or picking up what the Jets were throwing at him in the blitz, and he broke his route off. But this is not a knock on Michael Carter. You can't get much closer. Michael Carter's in his back pocket, right? It's a good throw. He's got maybe a yard of separation. Maybe you can hope it's a little closer. But, I mean, he's literally right on him. This is just awful. That's just awful.
That's just brutal. It's everything you're coached not to do. Right? I mean, it's everything I hear it like you could literally watch in movies. I mean, or like
watch it again in full speed.
Wrap the arms. How many times in my life have I heard that?
Watch it again in full speed. We got pressure. You got good coverage. And then the safety comes up and tries to deliver this hit. And the only thing he did is he hit Michael Carter off of the runner. I mean, it just
gave them 7 points. Here's 7 points.
So is this bad scheme? I don't think it is. I'm completely fine with this scheme because if he makes a tackle here, all right, maybe he gets the first down, but that's it. It's a first down at the 45-yard line. You tip your cap for them making a good throw when Michael Carter II has great coverage.
Right. It just happened.
That's to me, that's not scheme. To me, that's kudos for bringing more pressure.
Yeah,
right?
No, look, and most of my anger, like on that play per se, that's not a play where I'm yelling we're giving too much space, right? That's a play
where you got a good football player back there. Like, make a play,
right?
Be an athlete, be a football player.
And then my anger in response to it is there and not particularly in this situation because the time hadn't passed yet, but we've been seeing that kind of stuff. Where's the accountability?
Yeah.
Like JFM after that penalty, right?
Yeah.
He mentally gave them a turnover. It wasn't physical. It wasn't like it was mental stupidity. Gave him that turnover, and he was in on the next play.
Yep.
That concerns me because Parcells. I always go back to Parcells. Parcells yanks that motherfucker out of the game.
No, and that's a fair point, man. That's an absolutely fair point, and I agree with that. Now, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. To me, Saleh, they say that these guys love to play for Robert Saleh, and he's the kind of coach that they want. And, there's always a definition. And it's funny, like, I don't know if you think this way, but you always find, like, whenever there's coaching changes, and I'll use the New York Giants, for example, because they've had over the past couple years, I mean, they're on their fourth coach in 6-7 years, something like that, but they went from Coughlin to who is a strong, like, X and O disciplinarian. You got to be there 5 minutes earlier. You're late, and then they bring in the passive, players kind of coach. And then they go to somebody else, and then they bring in Joe Judge, who's again, an X and O stuff. And now they bring in Dable and I don't know how he is, or how he's perceived mentality, but they say that the players love him, so you have that balance, and Saleh is definitely a player's coach. I hope with all the fiber in my being, man, that behind closed doors, Saleh's ripping them a new one, and he's just refusing to do it, to us in the media. He doesn't want to show up as players, and I don't know if that's right or wrong. Maybe sometimes the players need to be showed up, right? Because we all remember, at least I remember, game 1 of the Giants when Daniel Jones made a really piss poor throw for a touchdown. He got his ass chewed out right away on the sideline.
That's what I'm talking about. That was the moment I think a lot of Jets fans that are really paying attention, like me and Greenby, both jumped out of our seat like on about that. Was look, they have a real coach. Because Daniel Jones came back and was a lot better.
Yeah.
Now I think that based on what you're showing me right now, it doesn't look like it's on some of these plays specifically. These were the killer plays we're so mad at.
Yeah.
It wasn't X's and O's.
No,
But
and that's what I'm
really-
saying. Like, and that's why I picked out these. That's why I picked out these plays to kind of hammer home. Like, all right, this isn't necessarily X and O's. Some of this is execution. Now, is it a coaching problem in practice time? Is why the execution is just poor? Because they say you play like you practice. I don't know. I can't speak to that.
or accountability.
Everything I'm showing, everything I'm seeing. Listen, you don't want to see the mistakes. You don't want to see the miscommunication between Sauce Gardner and Quincy Williams on that first touchdown, right? You don't want to see the bad tackling by Jordan Whitehead on that second touchdown, right? But that's I don't know if you can knock scheme or coaching on either of those two plays because everything worked out exactly how it was supposed to from a defensive, from a schematic
Right,
view.
from a schematic perspective, but
Yeah.
not from a maybe
Execution.
Whitehead. If there's a lot of accountability on the team, maybe Whitehead would never dare try to be the show off that gets the big hit and wraps his arms because of Parcells makes it very clear during practice and as he's developing the team and gelling the team, you don't wrap your arms, you don't play.
Yeah.
Like we stick to the fundamentals of football, right? And that's my frustration. Is it was the same thing the week before that with the trying to knock the ball out, no wrapping the arms, and I'm wondering, are they in practice making a big deal out of that? Are they revisiting the fundamentals and reminding them, saying, "Hey, we're going to do some drills, and you're going to do some like whatever drills they call it when they torture them and make them run more, because we're going to punish you." And we're going to make you feel some pain right now until you get it through your heads that you need to wrap and tackle. These guys have been learning that since they were in Pee Wee League. They know how to tackle.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right?
this next, go ahead. After you, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. So there's just no excuse for it. There's just no excuse for what Whitehead did.
No, you're right. And I hear what you're saying with the accountability. Like, all right, you know what? You're going to miss a tackle once in a while. So be it, But if it's something that becomes systemic, at what point, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, right? And I think in layman's terms, I think that's really the underlying problem of at least what I hear, or what you're talking about in accountability, or what, Jets Twitter has been talking about with accountability, right? If Salah's not going to do something to fix these things from keep happening over and over, then he's just, he's kind of co-signing the bullshit, right? That's the lack of accountability that I assume you're talking about.
Yeah. I just want it to be, look, we're going to make mistakes, but we're not going to see the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after a game, usually, traditionally, what I've noticed I don't care who the team is, how bad they are, when a team comes out like we did the other week and has poor tackling, usually the next week, one of the things you notice is really good tackling because it was a focus.
Yep.
It was there were things that happened, accountability, there were ramifications. When I mess up at work in something, usually what you're going to see after my principal lets me know about it is whatever I messed up in, that part of my job is going to be done really well for a while after I'm held accountable.
And like I said, I hope that there is that level of accountability that's happening behind closed doors at One Jets Drive Room. We're just not seeing it. Now, doesn't seem to be portrayed again, because I think Salah and Ulbrich, what they haven't, what I'm not super happy with is the way that, they present or the way they're perceived because of the way they talk to the media, right? Like it seems to me, and maybe it is, and maybe I'm just that naive, but it seems to me when he talks to media, he just tries to, it's not that big of a deal. We're unlucky, like he seems like very laissez-faire, but I can't imagine that he really is like that with the guys behind the door. Like, I'm hoping that behind the door, he's like, there's some sort of fire that's lit and he's MFing people up and down, like, this got to stop, so on and so forth. But he's not going to, set that tone in the media. He's just going to kind of downplay it. That's what I hope, at least.
Well, if not him, it's going to be DJ Reed, because DJ Reed was clearly fed up last week. So
yeah, sure. So this rep is nothing crazy. This is one thing. I talked about it earlier with you where I said sometimes it just feels like the defense is just way too soft, right? And this is one of those things. This is typical 11 personnel for the Bengals, which they run like 70% of the time, and and we're in our base defense, right? We're going to be in a zone, but it's just not executed properly. All right, and I'm going to play it out, and then we'll show. I'll let it go here. Okay, so they bring a guy in, they tighten up, and you got your 3 zones here, right? He's going to be in third quarter. He's going to be deep middle, and he's going to be third here. And you have your underneath guys here. Just watch our linebackers here. Watch our linebackers. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. This was the wrong play. 20. Oh, yeah. It was a minute behind. My fault. Let me get up to it. Okay. Here we go. So here's DJ Reed down here. We got Sauce up here. We're showing too high. All right. We're not really playing too high. Okay. It's a 3 deep zone. For actually, it looks like they're in some sort of quarters because he's not dropping man to man here. It looks like they're in the quarters. But I want you to watch these linebackers. All right. Let me rewind it here. That was a false. That was a false start. Yeah. All right. So here's our linebackers. And nobody picks up the underlying man here. Rewind that again. This is as simple gets, and this is just us not really understanding or
So where are our linebackers right now?
right here.
Right
Here's our
there.
linebackers right here.
So we got 2.
We got 2 linebackers. We got nickel corner here. So
Right.
4,
So
2, 5. 4, 2, 5.
Okay.
And it looks like here's what they're doing. All right. I'm going to rewind it again. Okay. 4, 2, 5. 3 deep. Here's your 3 deep. And they're locked man on man here with DJ Reed. Okay. So that means if he's locked man on man, he's got the deep third here. And this is the zone 3, 3 deep zone defense 101. He's got a deep third. He's got a deep third. Sauce has a deep third, right? Michael, if he's locked one-on-one, Michael Carter II is going to play this zone. And these guys are in the hook to curl, right? So as long as this guy doesn't stop, and Sauce would probably break up on him, these guys are these 3, Michael Carter and our 2 linebackers here, are the only 3 really that cover this hole underneath. I want you to watch this route and watch what happens. Watch this route right here. That's Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody picks him up. Nobody picks him up. Wide open. Our linebackers get way too deep right from the get-go. They're already 6 yards off the ball. This is where they should be. They should be 6 to 7 yards off that ball. Watch where they go.
Why are
Right?
they backing up?
He's
They both backed
12
up.
yards. CJ's 12 yards off the ball. Now,
What is he doing?
Michael Carter's expecting CJ Mosley to be there because that's what you do. You push, you hold your in zone defense. You're responsible for an area. You got to pass your defenders off. So Michael Carter, you see, he points. He says underneath, and CJ goes back another 4 yards.
Right, because Michael Carter's not supposed to leave this spot.
These guys should be breaking up. These
You see
linebackers
him,
right
right,
here
you see
should be
Jamal.
breaking up.
Because you
Now-
see him coming across. So you have to come up.
Again, a good schemed play. This is how you beat, this is how you beat the 3 deep man. You play underneath. You need better linebacker play here. You need better linebacker play. Now, it's a good scheme play. 3-step drop, and as you see what they're doing here with this, let me rewind it here.
Why is he doing it though?
This,
CJ?
yeah, you know what? This is just, again, execution. You got to be able to, CJ Mosley's got to be able to read this. Watch this big slot right here. That's a tight end. I'm assuming it's Hayden Hurst. I don't have a number here, but he's not running a pattern. He's blocking.
Right.
He's
He's already coming out the block.
they played that awful. That's the kind of plays that that's the kind of tightening up that I want to see. And that has to be, that's where I'll say coaching has to come in. CJ Mosley has probably played that play 1,000 times since he's been a Jet, right?
Mhm.
If you got your hook the curls on, you can't drop back 12 yards. You just can't. You with a defense like that, when you have 3 guys way deep playing deep thirds, you're giving up the middle. Your responsibility is the middle. And both Quincy and CJ did a poor job there.
Why would he have backed up there? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I got
That's
one
why,
more.
That's why he gets killed on PPR. Maybe that's why he gets those low grades. Maybe because they're seeing this and just saying that's garbage. That play.
No, I'm okay. I'll tell you this much. I've watched a lot. I've watched these 3 games a lot. CJ Mosley's he hasn't been playing the same as the CJ Mosley that we're familiar with, man. It's not. It hasn't been the same. It's sad, but he's definitely lost a step. Linebacker is an area that I think we're going to focus on and address at some point. All right, I got one more queued up for you here. Let me just get to it. And I think it's an important one. It's the stupidest, smallest little play, but this is going to be, I'm hoping, a microcosm of Sunday. Okay? I want you to watch here. We're lined up. Here's CJ Uzama. Who's this? It's our favorite guy right here, right? Connor McDormand.
But look, is that Hendrickson lined up against him on the outside?
No, it is not. Hendrickson's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is what we talked about. We all know what Connor McDermott does, and I can pull up a bunch of bad pass sets from him where he gets awful. Watch him on this play. Great job with the drive block, reaching, getting out there, and maintaining his guy. He had a lane here. There's a lane here. It's a bad run by Michael Carter. This guy got in too fast. If I rewind it, you probably see Lakin got blown up a little bit, probably. But this is why I pulled up this play specifically, because I think this is how we're going to have to really establish and help Zach establish the run and use. Yeah, see, Lakin doesn't peel. I want to rewind that. Watch Lakin Tomlinson. So his job here, they're double teaming here, and he's supposed to peel off there to the linebacker. He peels off to the linebacker, and Michael Carter's gone to the races.
If he hits 59, you mean?
What's that?
So he needed to break left and hit 59.
Yeah.
So they had 2 guys blocking right here. Guy.
Here's the thing. He's lined up in a 3-tech right here, right?
Right.
Almost a 3-tech.
But Connor had him.
It's a double team, and he's needs to, once Connor McGovern gets, this is the zone blocking concept. Once he can swing his hips and he's controlled here, he's got to peel off and get the 59, but he doesn't. So Connor blows out his guy. And if he keeps his head up and he blocks on here, look at this lane here, man.
Yeah.
This is what we have to do. This is the stuff. If Connor McDormand is going to be our left tackle, let's use him to his strengths, man. Let's really establish the run. Let's do it here. And even look, there was even a hole here. I mean, these two guys are dominating. Now, the bigger hole would have been here if Lakin breaks off.
Right, because that guy 24, that safety, if you go up the middle, he's going to be there. You're not going to get much.
Yeah, and it closed up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Lakin needs to be here. And here's the lane here.
Then 32 could have 32 could have slid right through.
McDermott peeled off. And look, even up here, you have Elijah stalking up here. This is probably, if it's not a touchdown, it's a very large gain. This falls on Lakin Tomlinson, but that's not why I pulled the play. I pulled the play to give props, give credit where credit is due. And Connor McDermott has some really, really good run blocking reps in this game. The pass blocking reps, not so much.
Right. By the way, AVT on the other side, he's an absolute beast.
Oh my God. he's
AVT.
he's a man. He's a man amongst boys, Jeremy.
Yeah. He was a great pick. People don't understand it because last year he was learning. He was a great pick. He's he's a
I didn't plan to watch this play. I didn't plan to show this play, but let's watch this one. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to watch it here and then I'm going to rewind it. This is a bad rep by McDermott. This is when he gets beat, and this is when Flacco just throws it to the goalpost. I want to show you something, guys. All right. We'll watch it here. So McDermott, bad job here. He gets beat. I'm not denying that. Okay? I'm going to pause it right now. Flacco's already set to throw to Elijah, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's already made up his decision. He sees that McDermott gets beat. He's made his decision. I guess he's expecting Elijah to get 15 yards really quick between these two guys. So he's already made up his mind. I want to show you one thing. Look at Garrett Wilson. Look at Corey Davis. Look at there's nobody there. So although Flacco throws a great pass to the goalpost, this is missed opportunity. Complete missed opportunity. Let's watch it from this side again. You can even see him over here.
God.
He's wide open.
Corey Davis right in the middle.
Wide open, Jeremy.
And that was in his vision where he was looking.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. But even watch Garrett Wilson on the bottom here. Boom.
Oh my God. Hit him right there. Right
You
there.
you saw
Right
this.
there.
You put this ball here.
It's gone.
And let
It's
Garrett
gone.
let Garrett Wilson run to it. Boom, touchdown. Or even right here.
Oh my God.
Look at all this space here. And
Oh
where's
my
he throwing?
God.
Where's he throwing? He's throwing to a guy who's double covered.
Oh my God. But is Zach Zach, I don't know if he was there last year or if he's there yet because he hasn't played. But there's going to be a day we got to believe where Zach Wilson's going to develop into a quarterback because he seems like a smart film junkie. He's going to become a guy that goes to the second, like gets off of more and finds that, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. If not anything more. Now, again, terrible rep by Connor McDermott here. You know, he gets beat on the inside real easily. Joe Flacco doesn't like pressure. And when he sees pressure, all he does is he retreats 3 steps and throws off his back foot. Now, I'm hoping Zach, what he does here is he tries to move, you know, because again, look, Jeremy, look up here. What do you have here? You have a wall of white, right?
Wall. It's McDermott.
You even have, I don't know who this is. I don't know if that's the running back coming out of the field, but at worst, if you dump it out over here, it's positive yardage.
Yeah.
He was set on Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore runs a different route than Joe Flacco's expecting, and you know, and he hit the goalpost. So, listen, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing here now, and I'm going to come back to here, and we're good. So yeah, so those are just a lot of the little nuances that that I saw in this game. Again, I'm not defending the defense. We're the 32nd ranked defense. There has to be changes and improvements. But the more I watched that film, the more I really, really disliked the game that Joe Flacco played. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think part of it is he?
Well, you froze on me, bud.
Playing the game knowing I froze. His options are when the wall breaks down, throw the ball. Because I don't have the ability to do anything else, I need to get rid of it and not take the sack.
Again, that's hopefully where Zach picks up. Where those are some of the strengths that Zach has that Flacco doesn't. So, the Mets are down 5-1. Man, that stinks. So
I knew it was going to be rough and hard because Atlanta's been on fire. You know, you feel the momentum of teams.
Yeah.
Since the All-Star break, Atlanta's been just ridiculous. But
So I was off screen, so I didn't see any of the comments, so I wasn't trying to disregard or not pay attention to any of you guys out there in chat land. But
Oh wait, it is bases loaded, one out for the Mets, 5-2 in the ninth with Alvarez, the young catching prospect that they brought up.
Oh man.
But he's 0 for 3 today.
Yeah.
But even though he's 0 for 3, I mean, that's kind of dramatic. You bring up this kid in his first game. It's the ninth inning. He's in with the bases loaded, and they're down by 3. So he's like literally the top.
Yeah. Now you froze on me again, Jeremy. Hello.
I'm back.
You're back. That was a long one.
I know. It's crazy. I don't know why that's happening. I never had that problem. And then, it looks like Alvarez got out, I think. Yeah, he struck out swinging. Okay. He wasn't ready yet. Naquin is up and now. Oh, man. All right. Well, it is what it is. At least they made it a game.
They did.
But it's still 2 outs. I mean, they're still a home run away from, or a double away from tying the game. So.
Gotcha.
See, that's what it means to be competitive. It's the ninth inning and you're still in the game. Yeah, man, it's weird. It's weird that I keep freezing. Hey, we're gonna wrap it up because I told my wife it would be an hour and we're pushing an hour and a half. But I want to thank you, Dom. That was great. We got to keep doing this, man. This is just great stuff. This is great stuff.
Yeah, listen, if you like it and the guy and anyone sees some value in it, we can keep doing it nice and short. I can pick out a couple things. I mean, I do it anyway. I do it for a lot of the stuff that I'm writing on for Green Bean and others. So, yeah, man.
Look, I know I like it. Even if I had 5 people here, I don't care. Like I like this because, it makes me feel like I can know what I'm talking about now, right? It's like by seeing it that way, yeah, I can now make the point and bring that up to people and say, oh, let's not be so quick to blame the coach. We don't know that it's the X's and the O's. Sometimes people misexecute. We could question what are they doing to train these guys not to not execute, and like what did they do to CJ Mosley? Was that ignored or was something said to him? And I don't care if he's the veteran of the team and the captain of the team. He has to be accountable too. Like that was a disgusting play he made. Right? Is like, are they at least pointing it out to him?
Yeah, I hope. I hope that. I want to believe that that's the case, man. I can't believe that it's just being kind of poo-pooed and be like, oh, shucks, we just had bad luck. No, there's definitely some bad luck. Bad luck happens, and and bad execution does as well. So we tighten those things up. Again, a couple plays, 2 touchdowns in particular, the 2 that we talked about here. Well, here's J. Cole. The 2 that we talked about here, like, if they're played properly, that's 2 touchdowns less that they're scoring. Now, does it mean that they don't score? No. But they don't score on that play. But more so, I hope you guys in the chat saw what Zach can really bring us as opposed to what Joe Flacco did that last game. It was pretty awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was like now we could maybe hopefully. I mean, Zach's got to be able to do it, obviously, and deliver it and do it. But that's the hope that he gives us. That I like the love that you pointed out the time, because there's no question it's a whole huge part of his game that would have resolved some of those plays. The fact that he could bounce out and get that extra time. But then I want to see him develop that, not just rely on that. I want to see him be the guy that doesn't just look at more and hits the goalposts. He looks at more and quickly sees what's going on in the middle of that field, because the only issue in the middle of that field is if he throws it too much in the middle, you're going to have Davis and Garrett Wilson collide, trying to catch the ball. Yeah. So you have to, like, he would have just had to favor one or the other so they knew who the ball was going to, because they were both wide open.
And that's the crazy thing to me. Like, all right, I understand, that sometimes rush happens, a lineman's going to get beat and so on and so forth. You're going to have pressure that you're unexpected, and you might not be able to get through your entire progression. But I don't think there was any progression done by Joe Flacco on that. I think he just saw pressure, and he said, I'm just going to throw it away. He had 3 open wide receivers, wide open.
Crazy.
So
It's crazy.
But I'll let you go, man. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the call, and I love doing this, man. So, let's do it more often.
Yeah. We'll schedule it, and so I can give everybody more warning of when it's coming for next week. And everybody was here. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with us on this Friday night. I don't know if there's going to be any late Friday night shows. Sorry.
We just got an invite from Buffalo.
Okay, cool.
There's a late night Buffalo hangout, guys.
All right. I might pop in. I might not. But there you go, guys. Buffalo will be on. Go have some fun. Watch Buffalo. He's amazing. You'll have a good time. Have a little bit of a Friday shindig. But thanks for coming here. Again, thanks, Dom. It was great information. I hope people are watching this because this is what these channels should be, right? I mean, makes me proud that it's this channel because it's sharing real information. It's not just opinions and talk. We saw real things right now today. So that was good stuff. Yeah. Take care, everybody. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Ekwonu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
If you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.